I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks everybody for coming. Okay, can we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the February 11th, 2025? You guys got to do.
I know.
You can just
This will be
take
quick.
turns.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of February 11th.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the meeting minutes from February. My computer just went out again. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, do we have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
I'll make a motion, we accept tonight's agenda.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the meetings or the tonight's agenda. Once I get back in here, are you good? Okay, spotlight on.
Wait, did you need a vote?
You what?
A vote?
Oh, didn't we vote?
No.
Okay. All those
I'll
in
keep you on
favor?
task.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Computer or what? Okay, it's been moved and passed. Okay, spotlight on success. Okay. So I guess it's up to you.
Forks High School, Brenda and team.
Thank you for having us. This right here is our building leadership team. And then go ahead and introduce yourselves and who do you represent.
Hi, I'm Tammy French. I represent the humanities team, and I'm the chair.
I'm Shelly Castellano, and I represent CTE and Arts.
I'm Jason Richard, and I represent the specialists.
I'm Carol Vanderveer, and I represent special education.
Thanks.
This is Rob Rogers. He represents math and science.
He's filling in right now while another person is taking time to do some personal stuff during the season. So when Rob goes back to baseball, the other person will start back up. Yeah. So I just want you to know that these four have been on the team with me since I took over the role as principal, and we've been able to make a lot of really profound things happen. And when I say we, I really mean that the things are moving forward because they are taking the lead and making things happen and not letting us drop the ball. So what you're about to see is really, really collaborative and teacher-led and teacher-driven. So I'm really, really grateful for the people that I have. Tammy.
Okay, so we've created our presentation based around our school improvement plan that we made for this year. And it's actually the same as we had last year with a little bit of difference in the numbers, that we're going to increase student attendance, that we're going to increase 9th grade students on track, and that we're going to increase SBA percentages. And then now we're going to go through each of those, how we're doing, what we're doing to make it better. We've got lots of data. So for attendance, we've made some improvements. Green is this year, blue is actually pre-COVID, and then red picks up in spring 2022. So kind of always like trying to strive for those pre-COVID numbers, but we're moving up.
Green was spring of 2024, so at the end of the school year.
And then we kind of broke it down, but we can kind of go through those as through gender. I just get really nerdy about data. And then so those are the past years, and then last year. So it's kind of, we brought both genders kind of equal. We brought it up. Okay, next.
So what do you attribute the
President.
She did look at her.
Oh, no.
There she's moving.
Yeah.
And then this is this year's data, starting with especially that stacked column chart. Super excited about that. It starts in September 26th, then October 17th, November 25th, and then January 16th. What I see in that is those orange students at the top are the ones that were missing 50% of school. The green is missing 40% of school. Yellow is missing 30 to 39% of school. And so at the beginning, we had a lot of students missing 50% of school, and we've got tier 3 team working really hard on saying, why are you missing? We'll kind of go through that. But what I see is that our tier 3 students, the students with the worst attendance, have started showing up. And then now we've got like a lot of illnesses. Flu's real bad.
So I'm really worried about February's data. I walked into Shelley's room on Monday. She has 13 students first period, and there were only 5 present because people are just wiped out. So I'm expecting a dip due to illness in February.
Something I do see is October, our attendance is much better, and that was during homecoming, so I've got a picture of them doing homecoming activities, thinking that maybe they came to school so they could dress funny. Okay. Supports that we had planned to do in our school improvement plan, we've been working on. Advisors are teaching expectations to students and parents. And then if we see an at-risk student that's missing a lot of attendance, we tell our attendance team that's comprised of readiness learning, family support, multilingual learners, family support advocates, and MTSS.
Multi-tiered systems of support.
And then this year, we're really working hard that all the classroom teachers are meeting students at the door, and that we've started a standard routine of walking into the classroom and there being an entry task, and it's going really well. Everybody's participating in it. And then we're still working on our character strong to build that feeling of belonging that makes students want to come back to school every day.
So we decided last year to celebrate attendance. And so in March, we did our first dinner celebration. And then June, we did another celebration. It was because of all the sporting events and things like that that happened after school. It was kind of not well attended. It wasn't as attended. So we took that evidence, and then in the next slide,
She froze.
You go to the next, there we go.
so just recently we had a breakfast during school, and
Awesome.
we FCCLA Running Start students came in and helped out making breakfast, and we celebrated during the end of second period, and during advisory. And so one of the parents of the students sent Brenda and I an email, says to thank us very much, and the how well the crepes were made, and just being able to enjoy the opportunity. And there was a lot of students that came.
And families came during the school day
Families
too, which
came,
was really
yeah.
cool to watch.
They had a chance
Yeah.
to invite their parent guardian and let us know. So they had to be responsible and tell us how many.
RSVP.
Mhm.
Are you guys doing that again?
So in June, we're gonna do a barbecue attendance at the end of June, or at the 1st of June, right? June
Somewhere
6th?
around there.
Yeah.
And board are welcome, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Sharon and I
awesome.
were talking
Hey,
about
we
that.
like food.
I will make sure that Marin sends you all an invite, so that way you know that it's there, but Marin will make sure that I don't drop the ball on that, so that way you know.
Do you know
Yes.
what day?
So we're gonna do it like 6th period.
Oh, cool.
We'll have them come in and celebrate.
So a lot of that we put into plan last year, and then this year we have a lot more support, like with Suzanne Marcello. So thank you for floating the position for the MTSS coordinator, multi-tiered system of support, because right now with that data that Tammy showed you, some of those students that are having in that orange area, they're chronic. That means they're excused, but they have more than 2 absences a month. That's me calling and saying, Brenna doesn't want to come to school. She wants to go get a tattoo because it's her friend's birthday. And then she just decided that she doesn't want to go to school because it's her other friend's birthday, and they're going to go get something. They're going to go get their ears pierced. So that's me excusing it. So I have Suzanne starting to meet with those chronic absent students to figure out the why. We're also starting a campaign next time you come in. ASB is working on how to get students marketing why it's cool to be in school. So they're working on that. You'll see some of them on Keep Your School Clean. That's student driven, so they're going to start taking that on. We're working hard to identify at risk. Every Monday and Friday, we pull attendance data and academic data. And then that team sits down and we talk about kids, and we have spreadsheets so we know who's going to talk to who. So no kid gets left behind unless there's not the adult here to follow up with the student that week. So we're just kind of really trying to work. Then we have Tom working really hard with truancy, Kala, and Ashlyn, Kala Jackson and Ashlyn Coburn. We're getting those truant students, and we have not had anybody on the truancy calendar for probably 3 weeks. So it's working from truancy from the bottom. Now we need to come from the top, from people like me that are just saying, it's okay.
Do you ever use peer group pressure to help the kids that are chronic?
That's why I'm trying to get the students to market.
Yeah.
Mhm. We're also implementing this. I'm not there yet. This is a smart pass solution. This is what you spent the vape money on to help us. So we are going to try to, we're implementing this. I don't know how it's going to look yet, but this is where it's an electronic, they check out on their Chromebook for bathroom. It monitors how long they're out of the classroom. So that way, and then it sends communication to families. So families can start saying, Jalen checked into the bathroom this morning at 8:05. She didn't get out of the bathroom until 8:15. So Carol will know that piece. So you're a
having a
parent of a freshman,
conversation tonight.
parent of a sophomore,
Sophomore.
parent of a sophomore, and a freshman.
Mhm.
So those communications, like just increasing that. So
Is that like a text or email or to the parent?
there's like a way to monitor.
Mhm.
It's really cool,
That's cool.
but it's not there yet. Hopefully we can practice it after spring break.
It's kind of like 360, only it's in school.
Yes, how fun for us.
Yeah.
There you go, Hazel.
Okay, on track to graduation is our second school improvement goal we've been working on for 2 years. And this is how many freshmen finish their freshman year passing all of their classes. Once again, we have the pre-COVID data, and then coming back from COVID, it was working its way up. And then last year's freshmen did not follow that trend. They broke the trend with 47% on track. So what we wanted to do was look at the current freshmen and what they're looking like. So the next one.
So this makes me really happy because I'm being more intentional with tracking. I'm saying that because I'm being more intentional with tracking, right? So some of the data is not pretty, but because we're watching it, we can track it to see where we're doing and where we need to modify for growth. So if you look at spring of 2024, as 8th graders, 53% of them were on track. That means 47 students entering FHS exited their 8th grade year with one or more failing grade. So my first year, I didn't think to gather that data to track this year's sophomores, to be able to compare to see what the improvement was and what the why was. But now I'm like, I need this report at the end of every school year. So at the end of semester 1, and 12 of them needed PNW, which is a high school graduation requirement.
But it's taken at the middle school,
Pacific Northwest history, sorry, I do that sometimes.
but a credit for high school.
Fall of 2025, semester 1, which was January.
27.
Out of
January 31st. something.
86%
27,
of
yeah.
those students, out of the 47, just the whole number, 86% of them were on track for graduation. And you see that 41%, or was it 47 from the last slide?
47.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, it's right on there.
Do you think that dips in the spring? Or is your pulse, you'll
I
be
think
able to hang
it's-
on to that 86%?
It's the systems that we're putting in place to build them up so that they don't get lost. So there's 11 students that need more intentional support. And when Jason talks about some of the supports that we have, he can talk about how he's helping support that piece. So even though the data is not pretty, it's way better than it was. And I'm really excited to be able to start.
Yeah, but if you're getting 86, that's that 90% bar we keep talking about.
Yep.
It's good.
And it's
Yeah,
It's
that's
a team.
good.
That's good.
Okay, a lot of what we do to work on track grad rate is based on the advisory class. We'll tell you how we've got all of these routines that we put in place in advisory so that all teachers feel like they're supported, that they can then support their students. Advisory is like each teacher has about 10 to 15 students that they take extra care of and making sure that they're succeeding in school. So we have the advisory committee. We just met an hour ago, and we're creating a comprehensive curriculum. And so a lot of it is based on that. So you see the same teacher every day. They have a weekly grade check. We do journaling where the whole school is journaling the reflection on the same day. So that will kind of get them thinking about their own choices. We're using Character Strong for our social emotional. Tuesdays are for Character Strong. And we have specific advisory days where we're working on their future by filling out the high school and beyond plan and their 4-year plans and thinking about the future.
You want to talk to the next one? The college visits. Oh,
Yeah. That one.
yeah, thanks, Hazel.
So March 13th. This year we decided to incorporate college, career, and job fair all in one day. And so we have invited all kinds of colleges, not just 4-year, 2-year technical schools, military, and jobs around the area, or employers around the area to come in and be here at FHS at the same day, same time. And then we're also going to invite other schools from the area. So it will be a really nice show, just because it just felt bare last year. So we wanted to feel like, what can we do to increase the students' opportunities, like for future.
So that's on March 13th. I'll make sure that Marin sends you all an invite to that as well. Charlotte has facilitated college visits in the fall. They went to Western. That's
Western, Seattle University.
Olympic.
No, we don't. Okay, no. Just those.
Because you went on the tour?
Yep.
Okay. And then next, in the spring, they're gonna go to Central Gonzaga. They're gonna do that route again too. So they're making sure our students are getting exposed.
In the new vans.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
We're also partnership with CSF, which is College Success Foundation. I think I've spoken to you guys about that once before. But when they say college, they just got stuck with that name. They really want to change their name to Career Success Foundation. So last week while I was gone in Phoenix, thank you, we hosted lunch with a pro. So that was pretty well attended. We weren't sure because that was the first time, and it was somebody from the force DNR that came in. They had pizza in here, and they started talking about what it looks like.
Did they bring a chainsaw?
Yes, thank you for giving us permission for that too. Then we're going to host Doctor for a day. We're going to take a field trip to Northwest Maritime. PC's coming in for welding to kind of just expose our students to as much as humanly possible so they can see what life looks like after they leave our doors.
How many
ready.
students go?
Lunch with the Pro was 12. I can't tell you for the rest of them. I don't have that data yet because it's brand new.
Oh.
Yeah, it's cool, but I can get that for you after.
Yeah, I just wonder if they're 10 or 50 or.
Yeah, and we get to be with Macaw, the tribal school, and then QTS, and then there's one more partnership in here. Is it PC? No, Peninsula? No?
Oh, Joyce Crescent.
Joyce Crescent.
Okay, so it's open to all the students, so I'm like really pushing the advisors to say, sign up first because I want our kids to have access to it.
Have they reached out to Northwest Lineman School
Not
to
yet,
try and get somebody?
not yet, but Brent, that's his name. His name is Brent Rager, and he comes in twice a month. Last time he asked me what I thought. He gave me a list of 3. I'll put that on his radar.
Yeah.
This is just a sample of what we do every Thursday. So the teacher will have this up on the board. It's shared out. This is the journal, so that they can journal on paper, they can journal on Google Docs and Google Classroom, depending on how the teacher sets it up. But things to think about, the end of the semester is near. Are you aware of it? What are you going to do to make sure that you pass your classes? So every kid in the school is writing about what they're doing to pass their classes, and then we offer it in Spanish as well.
Will you talk about what's in the upper right hand corner and how that?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, it was we had a training, Safe and Civil Schools, and they taught us to be better teachers by being really explicit about what we want from the students. You're going to need a pen. You're going to need to not do any talking at all, so voice level 0, as opposed to talking to your neighbor as a voice level 1. So really setting the expectations and being really clear to the students, this is what we expect, because we know that we have to teach expectations that we want. So that's what that is. And then on the next slide is another journal that's less about how you're doing in class and coming from our character, strong, social, emotional. So it's kind of mixed up. During the season of kindness, what's a memorable act of kindness you've experienced? So then we're kind of reminding kids what it's like to be kind. So that's just one of the things we do for our advisory.
Do you look at their journals?
So the advisor would have access to them. So I wouldn't, but I would have access to my 15 students. Yeah.
So it's not like a diary, it's not totally private.
No.
No.
No, I always say, tell me anything. I love to read it. If you tell me something bad, I got to tell someone about it. but otherwise it's just me looking at it.
That makes sense.
So we just spent an hour a little bit ago, kind of revising our advisory curriculum and how we're going to put that through. By the end of the year, we'll have everything planned out week by week. And because we've already kind of put in place that Mondays are for checking your grades, Tuesdays are for character strong, Wednesdays, it's going to kind of change because Wednesdays are the long advisory days. And sometimes we'll do service learning projects. Sometimes they'll be really focused on their high school and beyond plan. It just kind of depends. But we have like a weekly sheet just planned out and ready to go, and makes it easier for teachers that are coming in. We also talked about for new teachers next year during New Teacher Academy, we'll spend like an hour just really focused on that because we don't want it to get lost.
And advisory is our tier 1 access to support students on being on track for graduation. So this is boots on the ground. Let's make sure our kids don't get lost.
We're also working on how to be a freshman, how to be a ninth grader, how to be a 10th grader, how to be an 11th grader, how to be a 12th grader, so that every student knows, okay, this is what's expected of me. This is how I can be successful in this grade level. This is what's coming next. And that can kind of be implemented on our last Friday of every month, where we meet as a whole class in different locations. And the more that we've been putting that in place, the more structured it's been, and seeing all the whole class together has been pretty cool. It gives them some time to work together and lead up towards common goals for.
Where do you
their
meet
senior
at?
year. Juniors meet in my classroom.
How many?
Seniors, I think, usually meet in here. Freshmen right now are meeting in the commons, and the sophomores, I think, have been meeting in the either in the gym or the mat room. Just kind of depends. It's up to the class advisors to kind of meet and figure out where the best places are.
Because there's like 60 kids in some class. So
It's actually pretty big.
it's a
It
little
fits all of them. It works out.
So after living a year, there's some things that we've intentionally done to strengthen it. So I'm going to do this tomorrow, and I've done this in different locations. So I went to the Parent Advisory Committee, which represents our multilingual community, and taught to that community what Core 24 is, what it looks like to be on track for graduation. Last year, I went to the 8th graders, the rising freshmen, taught that to them at each. I'm going to go do that again tomorrow with Shauna. Last year I didn't have a Shauna. She and I are going to go down. We're going to push it into a classroom. We're going to teach it. We're going to have our students already registered for classes, ready to go. We're also going to do an rising 9th graders, which is upcoming 8th grade. The 8th graders. We're going to do a parent night in the spring. That's already scheduled. So we can teach the families what Core 24 is, graduation requirements, get them on the page, then reteach it to the freshmen. What does it mean to be a 9th grader next year in advisory through advisory? The other thing that we're doing is we're going to have student-led conferences for our aspiration. So invite those 11 families from those 11 students from the 9th grade data and say, here's what we need to do to get your baby back on track, because it's not okay to let them be. All means all, right? We're also having senior meetings. So I pushed into the senior class meetings a couple times and said, here's what you need to do in order to graduate. I'm not getting my speech. They know how I threw it, picked up and put on first base when he couldn't even hit the ball. So I threw it away. So I tell them that story. You're going to earn it. It's going to mean something. And then, so I've done that a couple times. I've had one-on-one meetings, monthly check-ins with students who aren't making as much progress as I want to. And then I'm going to start having my one-on-one. There's 5 students that I'm really worried about. Those are scheduled for this Friday. I did all the yucky on Friday, so I could just walk away to have that conversation with people. And then we've been pushing it for faculty meetings to talk about graduation requirements, just to get us all on the same page.
Okay, graduate in 4 years. This tracks every class from 9th grade to 12th grade, and says how many of them actually made it in 4 years. So especially like how many of them actually graduated. What I do see is that we've kind of leveled out, but it did go down a little bit since COVID. And then on the next slide, I see that we've got a lot of dropout rate, but these are kids that kind of were healing from COVID and didn't make it. So we've lost these, and that's why that number is low, but we're building these systems so that we don't lose any kids ever again. So that's our graduate in 4 years.
And these are students that come in as freshmen, but they might transfer to another school, but they never engage in another school. So they just disappear. But we
own the data.
we have Colin now who's searching, Colin Jackson, who's searching them. They go onto the ESSER list. So we're trying really hard not to lose people.
To locate them and make sure, sometimes they move out to another state and we can't code it. So it's dependent on our people to put the information in the system to know where they are. So we have to track if they leave here, and we have about a 20% mobility rate. Sometimes they come back, not always though. But that tracking is really important so we can get our data in the system correctly.
So I can speak about last year's senior class. Shannon and I worked really closely with getting numbers right. And with the data that I had when they were at the beginning of the school year, there were only 2 of them that didn't meet Core 24, earn their graduation. So one of them re-engaged in the ALE program this year, and the other one we're still trying to get her back so that we can get her what she needs to so she can be successful. So we're still trying. A lot of these interventions are what we've already talked about. We have our MTSS coordinator helping. We have Ashlyn Coburn. We have Paula Jackson, Sandra Velasquez, Shauna Sparrow, Jen LeDuc. This team is sitting and talking about data, talking about students, again, looking at attendance, grades, and behaviors on there to help support. So that's kind of there. Yeah, there's one thing on here that I implemented this week because Suzanne was able to see the data. So she saw that there were some teachers who had not had the opportunity yet to put in grades. So I raised the bar and asked that minimum 2 grades be entered into Skyward weekly. So that way students know and they can continuously monitor their progress so that they don't get shocked later on that they're not there. We also do weekly grade checks that we send to coaches. So every Friday, every coach gets a whole list of athletes sent. They know, so that way when we do the official grade checks, coaches aren't shocked that they just lost 3 players because they didn't know that the student wasn't there. So we've increased the communication on that too. Last year we were only doing it twice a quarter. We're like, that's not enough. I don't know if that came from you, Rob, at the end of the spring, and we started it. So thank you. And the coaches are really, really monitoring it. Had a lot of impact.
Can I add to that real quick?
Yeah.
We also have several teachers available before and after school for academic
Support.
Yeah. And it's on the TVs throughout the school. So if students don't hear the announcements, they can see it on there too.
We're good, Hazel. Next slide, Jason.
I thought I was just doing 7.
Yeah, I kind of already talked about all of that. Will you go back 1 slide for me? There you go.
Okay, so she just mentioned the academic study tables that we're doing before and after school, entering the grades, weekly grade reports given to athletic coaches. Then in 2020 credit recovery, we're focusing primarily on seniors. This year, we're trying to get all of our freshmen on track, those that didn't have Pacific Northwest history, so we can get them. And a few of them, we kept engaged in 2020 so they could work on gaining other credits. So if they failed a class, they were automatically put into that class for 2nd semester. So those 8th graders or those 9th graders are given an opportunity to be on track by the end of the school year. Seniors, we've kind of switched gears on in 2020. We really want to focus on having all of our energy into getting our seniors to graduate. So focusing on them, kind of shifting gears from sophomores and juniors being able to take it to really focusing on them putting in the time in the summer to get those credits back, rather than wasting or not wasting a period, but they have classes that they need to be in for sophomore and junior year, that if they're in a 2020 class, then they are sliding in the wrong direction. We want them to have the electives that are going to engage them and make them want to be at school, not into an 2020 recovery class. So we're really
Makes sense.
focusing on a more productive summer school, giving them the opportunity, really pushing that during our spring conference week. We'll push that for at-risk students to get signed up there for summer school. And then so we can really focus our energy on the seniors' recovery and get them to that graduation.
We need to start pushing internship because Shelley's really worked to it back up. So students are now seeing that if they're on track for graduation, they get that opportunity to leave 5th and 6th period to go into the workforce. You have some of our kids that are able to do that, right? So that they, instead of taking a different elective, that can be an elective. So that works site
Get
learning.
credit, get their CT.
Do you find that the kids that participate in extracurricular activities, do they attend school more? Do they participate in the school more, or is it about equal?
There's definitely a lot more engagement with students that are in extracurricular. I believe, like, if you talk about just the kids that flip the switch when they know that they have to get things done to participate, they show up, they grind a whole lot more to get their work done and on track, so they can.
And that could be
participate.
band or drama or anything.
Mhm. Cheerleading, yeah, anything.
So
We
that
have a lot
helps.
of clubs right now too that students are involved in. They want to be here. They wanna hang
Chess.
out.
Mhm.
Yeah, the chess club, that was.
Also
They're going to state.
internship, there's work site and internship, like they have to be passing their classes or else I'll just pull them out of that.
Another support that we're doing is Standing on Business Day. We started it last year. So it's PBIS, that positive behavior, saying, hey, you did a good job. So students that were passing all their classes 2 weeks before the end of semester, they get to have like an hour and a half of kind of a free time, but they choose an activity. They got to choose board games and chess, open gym, bowling, cookie making with Ms. Castellano. And then the students that weren't passing their classes, they weren't being punished. They were given an hour and a half with a teacher that they need help from to sit and pass those classes 2 weeks before. So we had all math teachers on deck helping the students make sure that they're passing their math classes. So for an hour and a half, 2 weeks before the semester, we gave them a chance to make their grades up. And it just comes from Seahawks. I can't remember. This was a year ago.
This is DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf. I was gonna say DK
Sorry.
Bennett. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
So he did that when he scored, and so the kids kind of picked up Standing on Business. So they really like it. This was our third one.
And we'll have another one.
The first 2 weeks of school, my students in yearbook were like looking through the old yearbooks, getting ideas, and that was like the first thing they brought up. Are we doing that this year? And I brought it back to the team. I was like, we better do that this year.
Yeah, once they know what's coming up, then
Yeah.
they start hustling like before it even comes out. They're like, I want to have Standing on Business Day, so then they'll start getting their papers turned in. So it's kind of a wake up call before the end of the semester. If it's not enough that you are going to miss a credit, this is another motivation.
Then we have this. So we are working really, really hard and diligently. And Jen is going to be our person who is going to be really tired in about 3 weeks because Monday we're hitting the ground running. We're reteaching expectation all week. This is a hyperlink, so you can see what the presentation looks like that is there. But it's like we define what electronics are. So earbuds, smartwatches, what all else is in there?
Video
Fitbits that can
Headphones.
Yeah.
connect to the internet.
Anything that connects to
connects
the internet just coming at it strong. This is hard for me, but if your phone pings and it's stored away, you're gonna be sent to the office because your phone should be stored and right out of the way. So we're really going to do this. And Jen's gonna be my person that holds me accountable. So I'm the angel and she's the devil is what we've been talking about behind the scenes right there. So anytime I want to give a kid another chance, she's gonna tell me no, can't give the kid another chance. It's all or nothing.
Which
So,
simplifies the whole process
Yeah.
and helps us all support students in keeping their phones put away.
We're using this week to warn the students. I said, there's a revolution coming. It's not going to be like this slight movement. It is going to be a revolution.
So we retaught it. They're reteaching it to students this week. We retaught to staff today, and we had them ask questions. at the very end of it. Some of them were up here with me, some of them were back there with Jen, and probably about 4 of them said, I know you're gonna be busy next week. Please let me know if you need help writing passes to get kids back to class. Please let me know if you want me to come here and be available during my prep period. So the staff is on board. Yeah, she did a lot of research. I started just saying, Jen, I don't have time. Research. So she like perused schools around the area. She was looking at my admin stuff on how to implement. She was looking at this policy that we kind of adopted. So I'm looking forward to the feedback that we're going to get. The other component is I also tasked ASB with how to sell this in a positive manner to the student body. So you'll start seeing stuff on why it's beneficial to stow your phone away. So
And bring that back to us so we can hear the
you
results.
will.
Because we implemented it right when school started, so
Yeah.
we're still kind of
I already know
trying to
that.
get it going, you know?
Yeah, and then you have me really, who wants to give a kid another chance, right? Like, and I know that I'm part of the problem because I don't need to give a kid another chance with this. This is a policy that we need to uphold because it's policy. We don't get a choice.
So you're really busy, like giving a lesson, and you're in the, and then you see them with their phone, and you're like, put your phone away. I don't want to take that time to write that whole referral up. Put your phone away. I don't want to see it. So now it's all or nothing. So.
And we have a really easy system for teachers. Really, all of the burden is going on Jen.
Yeah. So if you see her in the next 2 weeks and she's looking really tired, just give her a high five and say, keep working. We'll take her. Yeah,
For
Yeah.
sure.
And the rest of them too. Thanks, Hazel. Okay, this one.
Okay, and then our third goal is increasing SBA scores. We've had this for now 2 years. We wanted to create an incentive for passing the SBA when other pathways exist. So that's Brenda's going to talk more about that. Teachers have received professional development and Common Core interims at SBA. We've been doing this a lot this year and last year, where we're making sure the science teachers know about Common Core ELA, the math teachers know about the interims, the art teachers know about the interims, so that it's everybody's duty to bring these SBA scores up. And then we're also getting the help with the solution tree, about PLCs, learning all about our standards, unpacking them, making sure we're teaching it correctly. And then I mentioned that safe and civil schools training we have at the beginning of the year to make us better teachers, whatever we're teaching, to make it better presented. And then so here's our assessment scores. Once again, blue is pre-COVID. So in my mind, that's always like kind of what I'm seeking. Like we need to get back to that level. But then the green for ELA and math is our current juniors. So the students who were sophomores last year, we were really surprised at our ELA numbers, because when you have the students in the class, they should have been higher than the yellow bars. And we said, there's something wrong, because these students have the skills. And then you see math, they kind of were on par. So we had to really think, what is going on here? And so we started thinking that it's the fact that other pathways exist, that they've learned how to just click through. And so you could go to the next slide. And then so Brenda was like, this is that same class. So the current juniors who were the sophomores that tested last year, this is the entire history of their SBA life, their state testing life. I went back to 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. And so what is the pattern here? And it looks about 5th grade, they stopped trying on the test.
5th grade ELA was at 50%. They were performing high. And then they just kind of.
Why did they quit trying? Don't know.
They didn't have an incentive.
Well,
So-
and that would have been the COVID years, 4 years ago, probably. Remember that one year we didn't even test.
20.
That
We
would have been probably
tested-
6th grade.
We tested in the fall, something really weird. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You don't even
Something.
remember that, no.
I
That's
tried
just a
block
blur.
it.
Forget about
I
that
think that's
year.
why 6th grade is missing.
That's not an excuse though, when we're talking about, I'll just tell you that I'm really proud of the board for putting our bar at 90%, because if you don't ever say a goal, you'll never get there. We're gonna provide you with all the support, but we gotta let kids know that they can get to 90%.
And then the next slide is this year's seniors, and they had a different trajectory with English. So they were still moving up, but kind of it was just, once again, nerding about data.
So they basically graduate, the seniors, still failing math.
Some of them ELA,
Yeah.
and I'll talk about that on the last slide.
But remember, now there's graduation pathways where they can do it if they pass the military test. ASVAB, get a certain score on SAT.
430 and 410.
Before, that used to be the only way they could graduate. Now they have all these other pathways, so it takes the emphasis off it. When my strong recommendation is I want my kid to have good reading, writing, speaking skills. I want my kid to have good math skills so that he can perform well in whatever he or she does. The test should be another day of learning.
Especially math and reading.
Yeah.
Man, those are biggies.
I think a lot of the scores have to do with fear of failure too. If the student doesn't think that they're going to do it, they get scared, they try to hide. So we're trying to support them in how to overcome those challenges. A couple of weeks ago, I did a staff training on.
I was just going to tell you one thing. Hazel and I have been at a workshop session, and the guy from AW Association for Student Leadership,
Yes.
the main guy, I can't remember his name. Is it James? He
Yes.
talked about the fear of failure with our current students that we have, and it's more powerful than ever because it's permanent on Facebook, on, well, their social media. It becomes more permanent to them because they're seeing it all the time. So they're more reluctant to try and expose themselves than ever. That was
Yeah.
powerful. So
That, and they also live in a world where everything is instant. They get instant gratification when they look at something on their phone quickly in the morning or whenever it is. So when they're looking up answers, boom, they got it right away. But when they have to think about it and try harder, it's hard. Like just watching their face in that is it's hard.
Before you go on, and you know that I'm a really strong proponent of student voice. So we started off the fall with AWSL coming in and taking a session. They did a whole student body session. They did a whole session in here with the leadership class. They're coming back, and they're right before spring break, and they're going to do another session with our high school seniors and our high school leadership class, and then they're going to go down and push into the middle school so we can start building leaders from up and just kind of get that moving up for us. Sorry, Carol.
No, that's awesome.
And with this, I have said it a lot in front of you when I was instructional coach, when I was the test coordinator. I really think that every single one of our students can do this. I think we just need to find what the thing is and get them there. So Carol and the team has been working really hard to implement all of this.
So a couple of weeks ago, we had a staff meeting where we really looked at the math and the ELA blueprints. The blueprints are packets of paper that say how many of what kind of questions are going to be on the test. So that helps us know what students are going to see. Students are going to take the practice Smarter Balance test in advisory sometime in March on a Wednesday. We haven't decided exactly what day yet, but they're going to get that time to go in and see what they're preparing for. In the English classes and math classes, they're going to take the interim assessments, which helps the teacher see what their responses are. Last year when I did the interim assessment, I got to see what my students' responses were. Some of them, when they were tasked with a short essay, they wrote 2 words or a sentence, or they were so over testing that they didn't want to keep going and they stopped. And so I had those conversations with those students, like, you've done better, you've done more in less time over here on this assignment. Look how awesome you did with this. It's basically the same thing. How can we apply that to testing? So I'm curious to see how that goes this year when I do the interim with my students. And I'm curious to see how that supports all students, because when you show them like, hey, really, this is what you wrote about, it could support them in sorry to backtrack a little bit, but it could support them in fully understanding what they're expected to do. Some of the questions, if they haven't seen questions that are similar to that, they're like, what the heck does this mean? So we're providing support that will help them feel confident when they go to take the assessment.
And
And then-
teaching vocabulary too.
Yeah, where it says ELA and math, those are links, like towards the bottom. Those are links to documents that I made that are like the main skills that are asked or that are represented on the Smarter Balance assessment. We retaught the ELA ones to my students, and it just broke down like, what the heck does author's purpose even mean? Well, it means this, this, and this. So it helps students understand what they're being asked to do. And then I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a math person, so I printed that out and gave it to Rob and Ismail, and I said, do you think this would be helpful for your students? And they said, absolutely. So I think if we implement that in our own classes and we implement that through advisory, it's going to support students in knowing what they're expected to do so that they feel confident when they go to test. And then the Tulare, ELA, and math stems and bookmarks, those help students, or they help any teacher use what they are going to use on the assessments with questioning. So it gives you a question that you can use with pretty much any book. It helps. It's an easy entry task system for teachers to use.
And Carol's interested in coming here and providing you the opportunity to take an interim. She's volunteered like 3 times. So if you want to see what's on the interim, you just let us know and Carol and I will come back. And so you can see it. Yeah, seriously, we want you to see what's.
That'd be interesting.
We should take an interim.
Or the practice
We
test
should
at
take
least.
an interim.
Yeah.
I would do it. It'd be fun.
You want to do math or you want to do
Math.
ELA?
Oh, God.
I want to do ELA. I don't
wanna do math.
ELA.
We'll do it here soon.
ELA, I can math, they get
Yeah.
into algebra and geometry.
And then we could post our scores next to this.
Oh. I'm gonna be sick that day.
One
Might as
last
well
thing,
try it, yeah.
when we had that last teachers meeting on the SBA, I had every teacher kind of write down what strategies they can use in their own classroom, regardless of what they teach. And every teacher was able to come up with positive things that they can do in their own classrooms.
It's awesome.
If we take that test and we flunk, what happens?
You get sent to detention. No, I'm kidding.
Nobody will cheer you. So part of the reasons why I think our scores were not desirable at the end of spring of 2024 is because this culture of clicking. Carol talked about it. They're just used to that instant gratification. I'm gonna tell you now, I can only stay on Facebook for about 60 seconds before I'm off of it. My brain's already done. So I just think we're rewiring our brains. So we have to shift that. Dinah's alluded to the idea of the pathways. So they can get a 31 on the ASVAB out of 100. They can get a 410 on the reading part of the SAT, a 430 on the math part. They can take an AP class and score a B+ or a B, and that gets them pathway. So they don't need this ELA and math pathway for their graduation. I'm working on incentivizing this, again, using the ASB to market it, letting them know that if they score a 3 or higher on this test, which is
She's gonna say anybody can do it.
Anybody but us.
And teachers are providing that. They can be set up for success. Yeah, we can give you some intervention and you would be able to make it happen.
We work really closely with Kirsten. She was just here this morning to give us our TA training. And on the special education side of things, and student accommodations through an IEP or 504, those accommodations, like we started that back in December, checking every student's accommodations, making sure they have everything they need.
Yeah. So if we know what's being asked of us, we can make it happen. If we don't, we're playing guess what's in the bag, then we can fail. So incentivize that, let them know that if they are on a college pathway and they score a 3 or higher, they don't have to take remedial classes. Like Brady didn't have to take any math classes to get his BA to become a teacher because he scored a 4 on his math assessment for the SBA. So getting them back to see the why and let them know that there's value in that. And then 2 years of a CTE pathway, that's another thing. So that they can do to graduate without having to pass this assessment. So we just need to give them the why it's important, back up and reshift that thinking. The other thing that we're thinking about implementing this year is the ownership of testing. So I think it would be pretty hard for Carol's students that she sees every single day, knowing that she just taught her. So if she's administering the test during first period when she sees those students, and then 6th period when she sees the other set of students, it's going to be really hard for them to click through when she knows what she taught them. So I think it'd be really hard for your boys to click through if I was the one administering the test and my eyebrows going, what are you doing? I know what you're doing. Mr. Rogers shared with me 2 or 3 weeks ago that we had a teacher's kid that came into the library, into your test session, right? Hadn't been in your classroom for 2 years, was done with the math assessment within 2 minutes. And that's a teacher's kid. So we got to shift this focus back, give some ownership. So Carol, practice your eyebrow.
Oh, I do, trust me. They know it. One more thing with that, when it comes to iReady, because students just get in that clicking phase. In my own classroom, I made that a grade, and if they want to get an A, because they all really strive and want to get A's, they want to get an A, they have to do better than they did last time, or at least, really close. I want to know that they're actually trying, not just clicking through. And when they see that they went from like a second grade reading level up to a middle school one, according to iReady, they feel proud of themselves, and it's awesome to see them see that.
So, and then our PLC work has focusing on the essential standards. Like I said, if we know what's being expected of us as learners, we know what we're teaching, we're just going to increase the bar. So that's a lot of information. I told them 15 minutes. Sorry, Diana.
No, it's awesome. Good information.
Yeah, that was really,
Let us know when you want to schedule the intern assessment.
yeah. When we want to,
No
you
question.
gotta take it too.
No, just
I know
great
it.
job, you guys.
Give us something to
And like
study.
the pattern seems like
Yeah,
raising the bar.
Yeah.
Going cold
Everybody's raising the
turkey.
bar with that.
Yeah.
So,
I like it.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah,
awesome.
And then I just want to thank my team, because it's not me, it's them. So
You have a great
Great
they have
team.
a phenomenal
You
team.
You do.
Thank you.
We'll let you know when we want to take that test.
Okay.
Might be a while.
Thank
Okay.
you all very much. I know you've been working very hard. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, that was a good presentation.
Yeah, excellent.
Wow.
I feel like I'm so informed
I know.
of what's
Yeah.
going
I
on.
know.
Yeah. Okay, are there any public comments and questions? Nobody? Nate?
I don't have any public comments, so keep it so far.
Kevin?
That's my word.
He's not a public. Okay, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
I'll second that.
And moved and seconded to pass or to accept the consent agenda. Is there any questions on that?
I did have one on that purchase of Power Edge, something wrong. It doesn't really say what it is.
Yeah, I was
I
wondering
agree.
that too.
I didn't know what it was either. Is it like a big computer?
Nathan, do you know, is this something for you guys?
Actually, a very, very computer.
Yeah.
Oh, it
It-
is.
It's part of our, isn't that part of our backbone that we need?
Power Edge is tests. Yes.
It's a server.
All right, that's what I was thinking too.
That was my
Okay.
only question.
Any more questions? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to pass tonight's consent agenda. All those in favor?
All right.
Okay, it's been passed. Okay, reports. Diana, financial report?
Can you put the power or the, there we go. Look at our, wait, go back. Look at our kindergartners on, that was the 100th day. Next year, join us. We had a principal who dressed up as a 100-year-old grandma. Yeah, it was fun. But anyway, okay. So for the month of January, it looks like we're in the deficit, but if you remember that this is the month that they take away if we don't have what we budgeted for. We increased our budget with Insight because we knew we were going to be enrolling kids all year long and we weren't sure. And so it's 8.5% of the apportionment, but it looks like they just adjusted our finances. So go to the next page. So for net cash and investments in the county treasurer, we're at 14% of our $60-some million budget at a little over $9 million. And again, you're gonna see this increase. I think by the end of the year, we'll probably have 10, not 10.5 million on hand, okay? And so we're in the dark green. You can see we're similar to 2022, 2023, but I think we're gonna see that increase because we're getting really close to enrollment with Insight where we thought we were on the average. Okay, go to the next. So again, our minimum fund balance, our undesignated unreserved is at 8.48, a little over 5 million or 5.5 million. Hazel, go to the next. Oh, and then we'll go to enrollment. Not much change in the budget other than Jan has now encumbered all the expenditures so that you'll see the next month in February, we'll be able to gauge where we're going to be. But again, she's already estimating out where we'll end and we'll be fine this year. So, and then we, I don't know if you saw the purchasing, we're replacing the fleet. We got 2 Tahoes. So
I saw that.
that'll be nice.
What color?
They're blue.
They're not gold.
No,
Hey, what-
they're blue like the vans. They'll be really nice. And they're 4-wheel drive. So if we get people going over the mountains,
So what
they'll
do
be
they be
really nice.
used for?
Just for travel, for,
Travel.
yeah,
Yeah.
teacher travel, mostly, yeah.
We need safe vehicles.
Yeah, we do. Okay, and so we'll do February enrollment then. Brick and mortar, really hanging on to right about 850, 843, averaging 846. And again, I think the decrease there is mainly for running start. Go ahead. Elementary is pretty stable. We've seen a few kids come and go, but pretty stable. Do you know how we are with early childhood? Are we at 54 yet? Did we lose some kids?
We keep gaining. I don't have an exact number, but I know we got 2 more kiddos.
Okay.
Today.
We were right around 50 though,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll get you an exact number.
Okay. Go ahead and go on, Hazel. And pretty stable at the middle school. Go ahead. Same at the high school with the biggest absences again in the 11th and 12th for running start. And then at Homeschool Plus, we're actually averaging right about 50 kids. They're full, so we're on a waiting list. Because if you do the math where the teachers would have to meet for an hour with each family, it doesn't work very well if they have more than 20 some kids. So we're really full up. But they're very engaged. And then Insight, we continue to see gains. Myron, anything you want to say on your end, what you're seeing?
We just continue to see our enrollment increasing month over month. And we anticipate that's going to continue because we are keeping enrollment open longer.
Yeah. So on the average, they're up now, the elementary. Go ahead, Hazel. And they're up in the middle school for the month.
Oh,
yeah.
Big number.
And on the average, they're still down a little bit because, they average all the way from September to now. But if you look at the actual number, and then just not quite where, again, the high school, but I know Myron and I have talked, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the earlier we get them, they tend to stay with us longer. Is that not right?
Yeah, we generally are seeing that. We're seeing that. That's why we see the more equal distribution.
Yeah. So go on to the next one.
Give me 1 second, and I'll get that cleared up for you.
So on the average for QVS overall for this month, we're only down 49. But if you look at the average, we're down 700. But by the end, we're probably going to be down a little bit, but that way we don't have to do budget extension. Okay.
Good, thank you, Donna. Board member reports. Mike, you have anything?
No,
Shannon?
Just want to say congratulations to all our winter sports wrestlers,
Yeah.
both for the boys and the girls, placed top 10. We had another state champ, Abram.
He come down to
Who
the
won?
store today.
Did he?
He was just beaming.
Abram.
somebody won a state champ?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wrestling?
What
Yeah.
weight class is he in?
I was trying to
Like
watch
120?
online, but
Is he one?
120-ish, somewhere in there.
He's not a very big kid.
Yeah.
Peyton made it to the final. She got second. So that was exciting for our girls and for them to, place in the top
Yeah.
10 as well.
Jade Blair, I think, got third.
Mm-hmm.
But Kyle said we were like literally a couple of points away from placing fifth for the boys, which is really good considering these are really
young team. Yeah.
So
inexperienced.
What did we place? What did we place?
Sixth, both in the girls and the boys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But they did really well. He said there were some surprises.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was exciting. And then, our basketball teams did great. Both teams making it to districts. And then, what about our chess club making it to state? That's pretty cool too.
Oh, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh no, did I just take them off? Hang on here, one. Hang on.
We still see you.
Can you still see us? We can't see you. Can you
Yeah.
still see us though?
Yes.
We see you.
Might have
I think I clicked the wrong
might
thing.
have knocked out the volume.
Hang on here.
Can you do your share screen?
Where is
Share
it?
screen.
I thought I shared it. Hang on. I knew I shouldn't have been doing that.
Well, they can still see us though.
You can still see us though, right?
Yes.
Okay, as long as you can still see us. Are you guys good with that?
Yeah.
Myron's still there? Did you cut him off?
Myron and Sheila are both still here.
Can you see?
We are here and we can see you.
Okay, that's all that matters.
Yeah, so congratulations to all of them. And then just a few things on the bills continue to be interesting. There's a few.
There's a bunch of.
Diana has one, but there's another one I was like, they're looking at, I didn't know what this was really, proposing a 10% increase in funding the SCO.
There's the big three, and I just learned about, well, I haven't just learned about this, but I was in a legislative session today at our conference, and so all of the educational entities like WASA, WASDA, AWSP, rather than I want this, I want that, I want that, they decided on the big three. They want a 10% increase with MSOC, which is materials, supplies, they want increase in special ed, and they want increase in transportation, and they have it very formulated so that legislators are getting the same message from every single educational entity. So they're not getting, we want paraeducator raises over here, no, we want certificated teachers over here, no, we want special ed over here. So they're getting the same message.
So these are the three main.
Those are the three big ones. Yeah.
So
Those
it's
are
like,
bills that advanced to the next round.
They have advanced. There's a Senate bill one, and then there's a House bill. They're different, but they still approach the three big ideas. We can hear Hazel typing, by the way.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It doesn't matter. But they still have a 16% cap on special ed kids, meaning they won't fund above and beyond that, but they intend to give us more money because a lot of school districts, I think, have 18 to 20% of their populations are special ed. So the fact that they put a 16% cap means they're never ever going to fully fund them. Last year for MSOCs, they gave us $21 an FTE. So do the math. If you had 20 kids in your school or 100 kids, you maybe got a pizza party, whereas Seattle got a ton of money. And so they're looking at a model that might be different for small schools. If you look at the bill a little bit closer, but those are advancing, which is good.
and then you already printed that. That was the other one that just came in today.
I just wanted to talk briefly. So they cut off bills die if they don't get approved by both the House and the Senate. I think this Friday, maybe it's the next Friday. It's within a 2-week window. But there was a bill proposed late Friday afternoon, which is very late. And immediately on Monday, my email got flooded about, you might want to look at this because it could potentially harm school districts that have a lot of ALE kids. So ALE is our online program. This is House Senate Bill 5772. It is supported by a senator in Bainbridge and a senator in the North Shore, Seattle area. And I'm going to give this to you, but there's underlying right here that says if you have more than a third of your students in an ALE program, we're going to cut your LEA funding. Our LEA funding is a local effort assistance. Remember, we just went out, we passed our levy for $1.50 per thousand. We said we would get 20.5 million. And now they say we're going to take your ALE kids, if they're more than a third, which our ALE kids population is more than a third of our population. We're not going to count all of them. We're only going to count 2/3 of them. That's the bad news. So I printed this out, and then
it hasn't passed yet.
No, and it was actually the same bill was proposed 2 years ago. I had forgotten this because I talked to our legislative guru from WASA, and he said that there is some ulterior motives here, and I'll show you what the savings would be. It's only a $9 million savings, but the good news for us, because my fear is we sold our levy on how much LEA we would get. So I had Jan run the numbers currently, and if it passes, we're still going to get our 20.5 million. We'll probably get about 22 million over 4 years. If this doesn't pass, we're not going to get 20.5 million over 4 years. We'll get more closer to 30 million over 4 years.
If it does pass.
And part of that is our ALE numbers. And again, so here's the school districts that here's the information of who it's going to affect, which it feels like they're targeting ALE kids, which I don't agree with, because they're already short funded. We get 10,000, a little over 10,000 a kid for an LEA FTE, where we get 14 to 15,000 for a brick and mortar kid. They are short on CTE enhanced funding. I mean, all kinds of things. But again, this is another dig at school districts that have ALE programs. So you can see the bill impact in the middle there. Of course, our sister program is OMAC. That's where WABA is, which is also a K-12 STRIDE program. And so I will be testifying tomorrow. There's a committee hearing at 1:30, and I've got a talking points that I'm going to be talking about how this is unfair. Local effort assistance is for property poor school districts where they could put 30 cents to $1,000 worth of AV in Seattle and gain millions and millions of dollars, and we have to raise ours to $1.50 per thousand, and we only can raise 1.1 million. We deserve that money, and whether it's an ALE kid or a regular brick and mortar kid, a kid is a kid. We should get that funding.
Yeah, good.
So
is it a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, I can send you the link.
Yeah.
And if I can just chime in, I have to say, amen. Diana, thank you so much for testifying. This is so impactful across the board. So very, very important topic.
I did get a little hint that I might get some pushback because it is targeting our ALE students.
Correct.
Kind of another dig. We used to feel this quite a bit. I mean, being in business for 19 years, it seemed like every other year we would get pushback. Like they took our enhanced career and technology education funding away from our ALE kids. Our ALE kids, again, only generate $10,000 per FTE, where a brick and mortar student is usually 14 to 15,000. So they
you're
just
losing at least 5,000 students. Yeah.
Just keep chipping away at it.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for testifying. We've had lots of meetings at K-12 with our lobbyists and our government affairs team, and everyone is so thankful that you are stepping up to speak out against this. You and Michael Porter out of OMAC, so thank you.
I'll let you know how, are you going to attend tomorrow?
I'm
Are you
going to try.
join in?
I'm going to
Okay.
try.
If not, I'll tell you how it goes. So it's just interesting that it was brought to their attention so late. I think that Friday was the last day you could bring a bill in front of the committee. So
Thank you.
Well, hopefully it doesn't make it to the next step.
correct.
Dies first round.
And a lot of them don't. So
I know. It feels like they're targeting small rural school districts. So if you look at the list.
100%.
So I-5 corridor against us. And the scholarship auction's coming up in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah, you can see we started getting items in.
Oh, building.
Ooh, craftsman. Oh, that looks neat.
I think Rex donated that. And that's all I had. Inside School of Washington report. Myra and Sheila, do you have anything?
Well, other than our work, we're trying to work on that bill for you as well. We do have a student who got an internship we're excited about with a company called Pathful. So she'll be starting her Pathful internship. She's one of our seniors in our CG program, so we're excited about that.
That's cool.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. Okay, old business. Yeah, we got a bunch of them.
Yeah, and so until we get to 10 and 11, these are routine constitutions that just need your approval with new, I think with new president names on them. We're getting them all current again.
Last time I had the chair meeting, we did the same
I know,
thing.
but
Yeah.
remember how quickly we went through them? You're really good at this. We know that.
We can do this.
Okay, first one is Forks Middle School Band Constitution. Do we want to go through each one of these and look at them? I kind of did, but I don't.
They're just a routine, yeah, it's more for auditing.
Hey, so
You want to start, Mike, or me?
So do we have a motion on that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the Forks Middle School Band Constitution.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Forks Middle School Band Constitution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next one is the School Drama Club Constitution.
I'll make a motion we accept the Forks High School Drama Club Constitution.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve Forks High School Band Constitution.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the High School Band Constitution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next one is High Schools USA Washington Association.
I'll make a motion we approve Forks High School Skills USA Washington Association.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the High School Skills USA Washington Constitution. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion that we approve Forks High School Track Club Constitution.
I second.
Been moved and seconded. We pass the High School Track Club Constitution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Geez, we're just flying through these.
That's good. You're doing good. You're doing
Yeah.
great.
Okay, the Fast Pitch Club Constitution.
Make a motion we approve Forks High School Fast Pitch Club Constitution.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion we approve Forks High School Girls Basketball Club Constitution.
I second.
Been moved and it's been moved and passed. High School Club Constitution, Basketball Club Constitution,
Aye.
girls. Yeah.
Aye.
Okay, Cheerleading Club Constitution.
I'll make a motion we accept the Forks High School Cheerleading Club Constitution.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve Forks High School Wrestling Club Constitution.
I second.
We had moved Moved and seconded to pass the high school wrestling club constitution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the board policy 5011, sex discrimination and sex-based harassment of staff prohibited.
So, if you remember, I think the last board meeting, with the new, presidency, this is taking the new Title IX that was passed on August the 1st under Biden's administration, and it's now converting back to the former one in 2020, which gets rid of the, discrimination by sex gender issues, and it now just reads sex discrimination based on harassment prohibited. So it goes back to the old language.
Yeah. Any questions on that one?
Nope. I'll make a motion, we approve board policy 501 revision.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to pass board policy 5011, sex discrimination and sex-based harassment.
And then the procedure also goes back. It's basically our Title IX procedure that we replaced in August, and now we're going back all the way to 2020.
So we just,
So that's just our procedures of how to,
Just a
if there's a,
discussion.
yeah, you don't have to approve the
Yeah.
procedures.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
4 minutes, guys.
Really?
That was fast. That was way fast.
That's good. Okay, new business. Approval of the Cooley Valley School District calendar for 25-26 school year.
I'll make a motion, we approve the QVSD calendar 25-26 school year.
Yeah, there's no surprises in there. I mean,
No, other than we go a little bit longer. The day after parent-teacher conferences in the week of October is a teacher work day and no students, because the teachers are really pretty tired by that time.
Do we have any snow days?
Yeah, we have, for this current year, yeah,
One or two, three?
we have two.
I'll second.
Okay,
And again, that pushes graduation back like it did this year because of our running start students.
okay, was it moving past?
Mhm.
We got first and second, so no.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Next time you're doing this.
You're doing good.
You're doing really good, Kevin.
Pass the school
Keep it up.
calendar for 25-26. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the approval of resolution number 6, 24-25, spring extracurricular and athletic staffing. Any questions on it?
I'm good.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 06, 24-25, spring extracurricular athletic staffing.
And I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to pass the resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, board policy 6217, electronic funds transfer.
So this is a new board policy that we just haven't put in place. So because it's new, you have a first reading, and then we'll bring it back to the next board meeting. But it really captures what we do with electronic transferring, since more of our business now is not sending old-fashioned checks, but transferring funds electronically.
So that's we're just discussing that.
Yeah. And the same with the procedure. Jan has carefully gone through there to make sure that this is actually what we do. So when the auditors come, they'll ask those same questions
So you
for
got-
safeguards.
You got it handled.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there any questions on that?
No questions.
Okay, PLC training, March 4th, 2025, 2 to 4.
That is next
I think I have that.
Tuesday.
It's next
Our
Tuesday.
last
That's a
one.
Tuesday?
We'll have food. It'll probably go about an hour. Remember, she says it's gonna go 2, but it's your last one then.
I gotta take the garbage out that day.
Uh-oh.
That's next Tuesday.
That's next Tuesday. Yep.
It's Tuesday.
Yep.
2 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay, is there any other questions? Any?
Nope.
I guess
Great
we're-
job, Kevin.
That is awesome.
We're adjourned.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks,
Okay.
Hazel. Bye, Myron. Bye,
guys.
Sheila. Enjoy your evening, Hazel. Bye,
Have a good
Nathan. Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everyone.